Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you are doing really well today at this time, because what we're going to be experiencing today is looking into some of how the brain actually works to promote neuroplasticity. And it's very complex, and I don't know that scientists really have everything figured out. But just based on the experience that Renee and I have had over several years of being able to dig deep and study hard into some of the materials that we've studied, and then being able to celebrate our studies and the hard work that we've done, and to be able to come back to it, it actually does make that sequence, that little sequence of working hard and celebrating, working hard and celebrating, it is amazing at how addictive that behavior can become. And so if we are actually focusing on the right things, we're actually focusing on the things that are truly important to us, then we have a real opportunity to literally get our brains to work exactly the way that we want, to push us along, to encourage us along, to feed the energy that we need to continue, even when it gets hard and difficult and challenging. And even when we would otherwise go into moments of despair, we can actually turn in and celebrate that we're having the difficult time, because we understand it's a process. And the more we are able to engage in that kind of a cycle, is the more the brain changes. And literally, your brain changes just right now by listening to this broadcast. Any bit of information that you garner, any new behavior, any new skill that you engage in, any new practice that you're doing, whether it's on the piano keyboard, or whether it's a trumpet, or whether it's a snowboarding activity, or whether it's riding a motorcycle, it really doesn't matter. Your brain changes with every single experience, and not only in a neurochemical way, but actually the physical structure. As you look at this, the scientists are finding that, yes, we're not stuck with the brain with which we were born. It's changeable, and we can learn, and we can learn much faster. And today we're going to be talking about things that are important to you. So I like, Renee, you and I have talked for so many years, right? And I remember some time back when you identified the primary value in your life. And I remember to this day, I remember hearing you say it, all right, and how important this was to you. And look at the life you're living right now.
Yes, directed by that one value.
Directed by that one value.
And that one value, I'm going to say what it is freedom.
Yeah, freedom.
For me is
Absolutely.
Freedom, the ability to choose what I want to do when I want to do it for my own purposes. Yes.
So,
and then a life has been created around that.
Wow, I think we can stop the broadcast right now. Because that is so exciting, that you realize that from a value, we're able to design and craft and create the life, and to put those reinforcing pieces in it that help the brain to use its neuroplasticity to make this automatic, to make it happen for sure in our lives, just exactly, maybe not exactly, but very close to exactly what we want. And it's just phenomenal. So you said that quite a long time ago, freedom.
Yes.
You wrote it down. But one of the things that we did during that particular conversation, and we did it multiple times until you got it to the point where you were so excited about what it meant to you. You wrote so many iterations of what that meant.
Yes. Yes. And getting very clear on that. It's one of the things that's in your Smarter Vision course, is that clarity on what that vision is, like crystal clear, feeling it, experiencing it, tasting it, touching it, all those kind of, the sensory inputs, imagining that in your mind so crystal clearly that your body, your mind starts to live that. And that is part of the neuroplasticity of your brain. Old school used to think that we were stuck with the personalities we have, the ways we look at things, our skill sets. You're just born the way you are, and you're stuck with it. And we've come to find that is absolutely not the case. And I'd say both of our lives are a testament to that. Having watched each other grow and develop over these last 16 years, you see the change that has taken place in each of us. So that's reflected in your brain. Your brain's the map of that,
Yes.
of who you are and what you're capable of. And it's as that has evolved over all these years into the person that you are now, and as it continues to. And it's an interesting thing, because as you have an experience of that, now it's not a theoretical, now it's a knowing. It's knowing that you can go and make the changes that you need to make in your brain so that you can become the person that you want to become.
Yeah, it's just really amazing to me that we've accomplished so much, and not even fully understanding exactly the process, but being able to experience it and now come back full circle to be able to better understand what it is. What in the heck did we do?
Yes, these are things that are now being confirmed in the things that we're studying now. In Andrew Huberman, who's give his credentials for me, Michael.
A neurobiologist, neuroscientist, whichever term, they're interchangeable, Stanford University.
Right. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, same things.
Yeah.
You've been studying one, I've been studying the other, and it's just fascinating how you are mapped into your brain, that who you are is this physical wiring, the neurochemical wiring that's inside of you, that you reinforce or you prune away to either keep reinforcing the person that you already are, or to grow into the person that you want to be.
Exactly. And so what I want to encourage all of our listeners to do right now, if you can, take out a sheet of paper, take a pencil. If you don't have that, get your phone and look at your notes area and just write this one word down: the values. All right, I'm going to explain to you easy way to get to values, because so many values clarification activities, they make it so hard. Right? And I want to make it simple and easy for you to get to your values. And really, there are 3 simple questions to get to your values. And then here's what's going to be fascinating. As we go through this, we're going to do some work. We're going to get you to introspect. We're going to get you to do some work. And then we're going to ask you to envision and celebrate. Because that little cycle there is what makes it go deeper into the brain. Because now when you celebrate, there's the dopamine effect. Right now, when you're focusing, and if you're really interested in this, then what's being released now, according to Dr. Huberman, is norepinephrine. Because that's the motivation. That's the thing that gets you started, gets you going. That's where you feel that little itch, that little stimulus that's saying, I need this. And then when we start focusing and doing that introspection, then that's where acetylcholine comes into play. And that energy around focusing is so important. So you wrote the word value down. Here are 3 questions. What's really, really deep down inside important to you? That's the first question, right? So write that one down, because you won't be able to answer it all within this hour, because I want you to be able to really take these questions and be able to put them and reflect on them deeply. Take your time with them. And says, what's important to you? The second question is, how do you wish to be known? All right, how do you wish to be known? And that's really an important question. So you have friends, you have colleagues, you have associates, you have acquaintances, you have people across the world, you have your relatives, your family. How do you wish to be known during your lifetime? What are the things that you wish for them to see? And then the third question is, how do you wish to be remembered after you pass on?
And be brutally honest about this. I said this last week, but be brutally honest. This is a lot of the work that you do for yourself is for yourself. Don't do it, as if somebody else is going to see it, and in your how you want other people to perceive you. I mean, I know he asked that question, but make it be about what really matters to you, not from the standpoint of what your mother would approve of and sign off on, or your spouse, or what have you, your employer. This, go deep, really actually reflect for yourself, because if you don't, you're still trying to live a life that somebody else's. And this is where midlife crisis happens, when you're,
Yeah.
identity crises, when you do not actually tap into what's really genuinely you. And that's your gift. We say this all the time here. That's your gift, you being you and expressing that out into the world. You want to be that person. Don't fake this process. Really think about it. Let it wash over you. Let it be a meditative process to come to those answers to the questions that Michael just asked.
They're so fundamental.
Yes,
And
everything will issue from them.
yeah, and the answers that you get become the basis for the values that you hold dear. That's the amazing part. And that's what makes it easy for you to figure out what your values are. Because now you don't have to guess, because then even though you're doing this for what's really important to you, you're still looking at them as to what, and when we work with our clients, right, we actually have them go through this pretend funeral, right, where they actually start writing their epitaph, where they actually start writing down the things that they would like to have all these people coming to their funeral, to their memorial service. What would you like to have them say at the funeral? And that makes it so meaningful to you when you walk away. Say, I wish people would know that I'm honest. I wish people would know that I'm truthful. I wish people would really recognize the fact that I'm a hard worker. I wish people would know that I'm a loving, caring family leader. Whatever those things are that are truly important to you, and you want to hear that thing. Now, what is amazing is that if you do that, it not only is it a set of values, but it becomes a vision for your life. It becomes that place that you are going to, because then that is the point at which you really want to reach. And as you live your life each day, then that becomes the roadmap that you are
Following to get there.
Yeah, to get there. And so what we want you to be able to do is to use the neuroplasticity of the brain. And what the neurobiologists like Dr. Huberman are telling us is that even in the anticipation of something in the future, even in the anticipation of something that has not yet happened, but you are focusing on it, acetylcholine right now is involved. And the time that we take then to say, wow, you know what? For me, mine is service, right? I want to have unparalleled service with anyone that I meet. That's been mine for such a long time. And it's amazing at how that's manifested. I have a story to tell today too, if we have the time. But it's just fascinating for me to realize that that word service drives me. And every time I have someone say, wow, I was so inspired because of what you shared with me. I'm so inspired. I now, in fact, I had one of my young adult mentees today just shared with me something very interesting. He says, I got an internship for next summer. And why would that be significant? Because I happen to know that young man is so really interested in, as an engineer, to be able to do the things that he really wants to, and an internship is really important. But why would he share that with me? Because I attend very closely to who he is and what exactly he would like to see happen in his life, and that he would come to me unsolicited. Hey, I got some good news. Unsolicited. I got some good news. That brings such deep satisfaction to me, because I'm addressing that person's needs and celebrating the successes that they have. So that's, for me, that's what service means.
And that's living, then right back up to living the values.
Living the value.
And it is deeply satisfying whenever you hit that one. If you've got it right, if you haven't made a list that's for somebody else, if you've actually made the list that's for you, when you live it, it's that just welling up of, what's the words, Michael? I don't even know. It's just so deeply satisfying. It's a thrill. It's you living in that woo-woo state where you're living your best you, and you know it. You're not having to fake anything. You're not having to push and shove. You're being that person. It's an extraordinary experience. And to live like that most every day, is just unimaginable from a few years ago to now be living where you're in just such a state continuously, because you are linking what you're doing in this very moment all the way out to that person that you want to be every minute of every day. When you get off track, you know it too. You know that. You can feel that in you as well, that it's like it's discordant. Who you are and what you're doing is out of alignment.
Yeah, I mean, we call that dissonance, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we call that dissonance. And so you can remove dissonance from your life. You can remove distractions from your life. You can remove all of those negative things that are pulling you away from the thing that's really important to you, just by going through this process, taking advantage of the neuroplasticity of the brain. So once you've established whatever that list is that answers those three questions, get some keywords out of whatever you've written, because you got to write these down. This is not just a thing where you just think it through and jot down some things. No, you sit down, take some time, invest in yourself, right? Invest yourself in this part, because that's what the brain needs. The brain needs to know that this is important to you.
Yes, energy. It's where energy goes.
Exactly. And as a result, it will reward you tremendously, even more than you anticipate, to build what we call automaticity into the process, where things just happen, they just flow. But so that's really important. So you make a list of words, So after you answer those questions, pull out a list of key words that sort of jump out at you. And those become the value word, words that will align with your values for your life. And
words that zing you.
Oh my goodness. It's just so amazing. And I have now this lady, she actually is a member of a family that purchased my book. And it's really interesting. Family has diabetes. They're all now diabetes free. And that was really great, right? I mean, that alone is phenomenal, because part of my goal is to help people recover and reverse their diabetes and feel a sense of well-being and health that they never had before. But as if that wasn't enough, I had the opportunity to meet this lady by telephone today, and to find out, you're going to be amazed at this, Renee. She also has a literacy initiative where she helps in her community to read better and to do math better. And we did such a high level today. And when I told her about the smarter vision and about the purpose, she says, I want to know more. I want to know more. And so when we are living a life that's aligned to those key words that we have determined in our life, and to the things that we put in place to fulfill those values, then our life is every single day worthy of celebration. So let's go a little bit now into some of what we promised, because we wanted to talk a bit about more of Dr. Huberman's work and some of the things that he's doing. Guess what? So once you have your list of words, I want you to not only just write down the list of words, but I want you to write down exactly what those words mean to you, so that you go a level deeper. Now, that's still some work, but now you're using the acetylcholine again, and now we're getting ready to celebrate. We're not only going to celebrate the completion of your list, but we're going to have you just sit back, close your eyes, and ponder that all of those key words that you've generated are becoming fulfilled in your life, and enjoy it. What does that do? That releases dopamine. That little celebration, as innocuous as it might seem to you, you're just sitting back, you're just relaxing, and you're thinking about these things. You're enjoying the moments in the future that you will have. And as a result of that, now you have dopamine being released. And now the work that you did doesn't feel like work anymore. It feels like, wow, I've arrived. Now, the brain doesn't know the difference, and the neurobiologists will tell you the brain does not know the difference between that experience that you had and the reality of the experience coming in the future. And so you can live it now. You can live it right now. And once you're able to do that, you can take advantage of that cycle over and over and over again. You can do the same thing with goals. You can do the same thing with milestones. You can do the same thing. Now, let me give you one of the tricks. Give you one of the tricks that Dr. Huberman shared with us. And it's just amazing when you understand how this works. So let's just say, for example, and the example that he uses is where you might be learning to play a piano. So you're doing the scales, and it's a difficult scale, and you keep doing it. You've done it 45 times, and well, it's still not working quite right. So just stop randomly. Just stop randomly. So maybe you work for 2 minutes and then you stop. And then next time you work for 3 minutes and then you stop. Just take a break and do nothing. Just sit and stare into space for about 10 seconds. You know what happens? The brain continues replaying the practice that you were doing. And so now you can learn faster by taking that break. And take that break, and then you go back and you do it again. And then you keep random. You can't do it every 2 minutes, because if you do it in that exact interval of time, it won't work. It needs to be randomly done. And that's called the gap effect. So as you are thinking and reflecting about those key words, just pause, take a walk around, take a few seconds, take a break, and then come back to it. And then sit down and stare in space again and just reflect on that. And then don't let the exact amount of time pass by. And then you come back to it again and you take a break, and come back and you take a break, randomly taking breaks for 10 to 15 seconds at a time. And actually what they found in the research is that the replay of all of those activities happens 10 to 20 times faster than you were able to do it in reality.
And isn't that incredible?
It's incredible.
Yeah, this is us learning our brain, right? How to have it work in our favor.
Yeah. And so the gap effect is a really important principle. And there's so many people that are now writing about it and studying it as a result of Dr. Huberman's work. But you can use it to plan your life. You can use it to establish the values that are dear to you and lock them deep into the recesses of your mind, so that you never lose them, that they become the driving force, they become the driving energy, that they become the thing that wakes you up in the morning, they become the thing that consumes you, so that your purpose in life becomes exactly the things that you want to see happen. And I love this part: distraction-free, dissonant. I mean, you and I, Renee, have been experiencing this, right?
Yes.
Where we're so focused, we know exactly what we want in life. And Renee's out there, doing her writing and exploration, and I could never do that. All right. That is not my thing. My thing is to sit quietly at a computer, on a telephone, and a Zoom call, mentoring people and coaching them. And that just as much excitement, maybe even more.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is what the big point is we it's so easy to get on. I put it in the heading for this talk today was that it's so easy to get into the treadmill of living the life. You keep being the same person. And then there's a principle of what's fired together wires together. It just solidifies this neurobiology. It solidifies who you are. You continue to fire off the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same emotions, and you keep being the same person. So then you feel like your life is on a treadmill. It's like, I couldn't change if I wanted to. That's just not possible. This is who I am. You hear people say that. This is just who I am. And it's like, well, if that's serving you, awesome. If that's if that's, you've gotten to where you want in life and that's as far as you want to go with it, hey, awesome. But if you're wanting something different, if there's something dissatisfying about doing that, there's this possibility of firing and wiring new circuits in your brain. And part of what Michael was getting at was the envisioning that person actually is that firing and wiring process where you start to Your brain doesn't know if you're experiencing something in the real world or if it's experiencing it in your brain. So
Right.
we can change the actual physical nature of our brains by envisioning those things, envisioning those values, envisioning that purpose, feeling it. So it's the two things. It's combining the feeling with the thought.
Yes.
And when you do those two things together, it's literally changing the structure of your brain, the neuroplasticity that you're talking about, that you're referring to with Dr. Huberman, to become literally a new version of you. You're not who you were 10 minutes ago. You're not, before that 15-second break. You're different 15 seconds later than you were. It might be tiny, but all of those things add up to be the newer and newer version of you. And this is how we can actually escape that treadmill of feeling like my life is stuck. I'm just stuck here. We have it in our own power, in our own hands to do something about that. And so it's something I think Michael and I will continue to explore here on Wednesday phone calls, because we're both fascinated by it. We're both coming at it from different perspectives, but essentially the same thing. Who do you want to be? Who's the person you want to be? The life you want to lead? The things you want to be doing in your life? Who do you want to contribute to? Not only yourself, but others. What life do you want to lead? And we want to encourage you to go out there and do that. And we're happy to give you whatever we know. We're only steps ahead of probably everybody else. We're fascinated by this. If we can talk about this for 16 years, it means we're really totally into this. And so we're learning every single week, and happy now at this point to start sharing those discoveries of other people with you each Wednesday here. And so it's just something we're both thrilled to be doing. And if there's any way we always say, if there's any way we can help you in becoming more of that person that you want to become, we're here to do that. We're thrilled to do that. We're both have had incredible people coming into our lives with their own ideas of what they want to do and how they want to contribute. And it's so fun to watch people go out and start videoing their motorcycle rides and sharing it with friends and family, and you making new connections with people who are helping out in the world of literacy. It just grows from here. And in a time when everybody is so stressed and distressed, this is actually the entry point, like the portal past it, to move beyond all the distress that's going on in the world and actually be the light and share your gifts with others.
All right, so let's review briefly. So we're going to start out by, just really identifying values, right? And then from there, we asked ourselves 3 questions to get to those values. And once you have that list, you clearly define that list of words that describes your values, so that your brain knows exactly what those words mean to you, or what you wish for them to mean. And then from that point, that's where we get into vision planning. And the problem that many people face is that they don't dare to dream big enough. So I'm going to ask you to just figure out, what is it that you really want after you have established your values? What is it that you wish to become as a result of those values? That's the question. What do you wish to become? And it's the same process again, right? Now, when you say, so you know what? I want to become the person that provides unparalleled service to my customers, to my clients, so that they feel satisfied and compellingly have a sense of gratitude for their experience. That's who I wish to be. So that's my vision. That's who I'm becoming. Well, guess what? I start celebrating that right now. As soon as I have that idea, then I start celebrating. And then I ask, like you were saying, all the 5 senses, Renee. So what are you seeing when you arrive at that point? What are you smelling? What kind of drink are you consuming? All right. What are you hearing? What sounds, what music, what banter, conversations are you hearing in that very moment when you arrive? What are you feeling? How does the air feel? What is it? Is it cool? Is it windy? Is it sunny? What exactly is that? And then your brain doesn't know the difference.
No.
imagination or reality.
You're wiring it for that
You're
future.
wiring it for that picture. And you employ that gap effect again that Dr. Huberman talks about. You put that right there smack in the middle of this process, and you will have those images and experiences locked in that when you wake up, I don't care what time you wake up, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 10 a.m. It doesn't matter what time you wake up. When you awaken, that's going to be one of the first in your mind.
Right.
Vision comes into place. Haven't you had that experience, Renee?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, and it's a funny thing. I've been noticing it lately. This is actually a practice I've been having. The first thing in the morning, if you pay attention, your mind will start in on whatever is habitual for you.
Yeah.
If it's worrying and fretting, you'll watch it. If you pay attention first thing in the morning, I had no idea. You're so oblivious to the things you do because it's so part of your mind becomes your body becomes your mind. It's habitual. You don't have to think. It just starts off. The sun starts coming in your eyes. You start coming to in the morning. You're laying there. And all of a sudden, whatever is habitual, and that's a really key place where you can see what is habitual for you. If you wake up and you're in that fuzzy little warm state, and all of a sudden the wheels start churning and it's grump, 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 fuss, fuss, fuss. Why didn't, who does, what's, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about this and that and the other? You know what your future is going to look like from that. It's shocked me to no end to do this experience of watching what it is that my mind starts up on automatically in the morning. And actually, that's an opportunity. It's a key area, 2 points in your day, that waking up in the morning and going to sleep. When you're in a different brain state, when you're in you're coming up into an alpha brain state, which is kind of that woo-woo, still dreamy, sleepy, fuzzy state, before you get into beta, where we are right now. We're thinking, we're talking, kind of thing. Our brain is really clipping along. When you're in that alpha state early in the morning, and as you're falling off to sleep at night, this is actually the place that it's also a really great time to start having those sensory experiences of who you want to be, of you living into your values, you living into your purpose, because this is how we actually get into the biology, the wiring of our brain really easily. It's really easy to do that, to imagine, to envision, to have those sensory experiences of that person that you want to be. And it's rewiring your brain to be that person. How exciting is that? It's like, it's like being a computer software programmer guy, person, getting in there and actually into the programming.
This is the code. This is the code for the program.
Yes, it's not trying to gut things out. It's not willpower. It's none of those things. It's you actually envisioning the person you want to be. Stop envisioning the person you don't want to be. And that changes your brain chemistry. It's been fascinating. I've been watching on Joe Dispenza. He's got brain where you see how the synapses and stuff like that are reaching out to each other and grabbing a hold of each other and becoming stronger and stronger in real time. That's what your brain is doing. It's making those connections. And the more times you rehearse that, just like the piano, it's not just physical skill set, it's rehearsing you, rehearsing who you want to be, is all becoming, all the little neurons and networks and stuff are all grabbing together to become that person you want to be. It's changing in your brain without you doing anything. There's studies of where they've had people work their finger for I forget how long, and then other people just think about it.
Yeah.
People who thought about it had not as much, but a very strong and muscle strength that was developed in their finger by thinking about it. Is like the people who actually physically with weights, I don't know, somehow manipulated their finger and made their finger stronger for however long, 2 months or something like that. You just have to do it in your mind because it's rewiring your mind for the person you want to become.
Wow. So, just to
how cool is that?
Yeah. So really nothing held back here. This is all up to you. This is all up to you. You have to make that decision. You got to make it clear, define it clearly. So there's no no room for dissonance, no room for doubt, no room for that little 1% chance it may not happen, that kind of thing. None of that. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Dream it. Let it
Yeah.
feel to you. Live it. Be in the
Yes.
moment, experiencing it through all five senses, and then celebrate it. And then
Mhm.
celebrate the work you did to get there. Because when you celebrate both of those things, then the work becomes enjoyable.
And then watch the world come to you.
Oh my
Watch
goodness.
people respond to you being you, not you that you're trying to fake and pretend to be, but the person who you actually are becoming. And watch the world respond and scratch their head and wonder what's going on with you and how you're so over the moon ecstatic about the person you're becoming. And it's a never ending spiral. You keep doing this work. Michael and I talk about it all the time. It's like you come back around to the same place and it's like, but it's not the same place. You're going, oh, hey, I've seen this before, but you're at a different level at it. And a different level, you're continuously evolving as a human being if you embrace this. And it's actually it's a fascinating game, a fun game, a thrilling game to be in that upward spiral, changing who you are and becoming the best person you can become. I'm not perfect. Michael's not perfect. We struggle with things. There's days, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm hanging out on the chair over there sobbing, and I've forgotten everything I'm saying to you right now. Because even that's a learning process. And then it's like, okay, what is it that I know? What is it that I know? And you
Yeah.
start up again, and you get in touch with the things that the practices that you have, the tools that you have at your disposal. You get back on that horse again, and then you're right back here again going, woo, let's have this wild ride, let's live this life. And so you fall down, you get back up, and each time it's a better iteration of you when you do it. It's a thrill. I can't even begin to tell you what a thrill this has been. And the upward spiral of it has only gotten more amplified as these years have gone on.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it becomes more and more. So it's like you said, we're at a different level now. So the next level up is even more intense, more,
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
in nature. It's just amazing. I do want to also mention this from Dr. Huberman's work. Be sure to get a good night's sleep. Be sure to get a good night's sleep. And one of the best ways to do that is to hydrate your body with pure natural water during the course of the day. All right. And just believe me, it works. All right. So, it's at least 2 quarts a day for the average person, 64 ounces of water. You want to be sure to hydrate during the day so you don't, interrupt your sleep getting up at night to go to the bathroom. But that hydration helps you to sleep better because you need the water for those chemical reactions going on not only in your body but in the brain, where all these things that you're imagining and thinking and planning and rehearsing in your mind, all of those things are being wired more deeply in your
Okay.
sleep.
Well, see, I just learned something new. Thank you for sharing that. I did not know that.
Yeah, especially in your sleep. And that 10-second, 15-second gap that we talked about, it's the sleep extends that through the course of the night.
Okay, so you continue to get that effect
Yes.
even when you've stopped practicing whatever that is, that vision, the piano, whatever it is that you're envisioning in your mind, you have a continued effect from that even through your sleep then.
Yes. Yes.
Really cool.
Yes. Yes. So I hope that this information is helpful to you. There's some tips and tricks in here, but we're going to post our notes. I have some notes that I'll be very happy to share. What are we doing? They need to send us an email address so we can send them that. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
Okay.
if you would
Yeah.
like to send an email address to this
Yeah.
to people living on purpose instead,
Mhm.
to that message group, we would love to send you out the notes from Michael's notes for this call and this conversation so that you can review them at your leisure. Some of us are readers.
Yes. Yes.
We would love to do that.
Feel free to review the video. Will be right here, recorded, and be here for your use in the future. But we're just here to really make sure that whatever it is that you want in life, that you have a system a way, a series of steps, little by little, itty bitty baby steps, right?
To get yourself there.
Yourself there, because but without that thing in the future that you have that you clearly want to have happen in your life and to become as a person, without that, nothing is going to happen.
It's a non-starter. You're going to be looking at you 10 years from now going, how did I end up being in the same place as I was 10 years ago? It's easy to do, without a doubt. So thank you for sharing, Michael. Really appreciate the work you've put into this.
And I think I know what we're going to do next week.
What are we going to do?
I think I know.
Okay.
I think we're going to discuss the Silva method.
Oh, okay. I've done a
Silva-
little studying on that, but it's been a while.
Yes, with all the brain waves and the way.
Okay.
Yes, and I think we're going to tap into that next week.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I've been watching a couple videos, and there's some really great stuff in there from the beta waves. You actually mentioned
touched on it a little bit. Yeah, the different brain waves and where we can get into the wiring of our minds. Yes, absolutely.
All the way down to the theta wave.
Yeah.
So we're
excellent. Well, we'll look forward to that one next week. So thank you all for joining us. We're so tickled to have you here. If there's any way we can help you, if there's anything we can share, if there's any way we can inspire or work with you in any way to keep you moving towards your objectives in life, we would love to do that. We're happy to help you live your very best life. And so get with us here either on Living by Purpose and People Living by Purpose Instead, Renee Troutman Maxfield, find me on Facebook, or Michael Dale Campbell, and we'll be happy to help you any way we can. And tune in next week, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, same channel, same place.
Everybody, thank you so much. Have a great evening, and lots of good to you in your future endeavors.